young men are proving their manhood by setting off kegs of explosives right in their own hands. A pair of giant beetles like this sold for $90,000. So why is this guy biting the heads off the big black bugs?
Good taste, it's like a lobster.
Stephanie Mittler's first time snorkeling almost became her last after she was speared through the neck by a fish.
I thought that she was a goner.
She can make bikinis with a brush and create suits with a sponge. Now this nude body painter will make a model vanish right before your eyes. When this steam bath heats up, you can fry an egg in it. Now, see who can last longest inside the 200-degree hot box.
It's life and death, it's heartbeat to heartbeat.
Unbelievable? Believe it. On Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Welcome to the Ripley's warehouse. A girl from Florida goes snorkeling in the Keys for the first time. As she's getting used to the water, a houndfish jumps out of the sea and stabs her right in the neck. It's a true story.
It's hard to believe you could survive being shot in the head by an arrow. Even more incredible is to live after being impaled by a pole thrust through your stomach. But perhaps the most unbelievable of all impalements is being stabbed through the neck by a fish and living to tell the tale. That's what happened to Stephanie Mittler, a girl who's lucky to be alive, and that's no fish story. 17-year-old Stephanie Mittler loves to hang with her friends, shop at the mall, and talk about boys, not necessarily in that order. A student at Sickles High School in Tampa, Florida, Stephanie, along with her sister Jennifer and best friend Maria, were looking forward to spring break in the Florida Keys.
The plan was to go snorkeling all day long, swim in the ocean, and have a good time.
It was everyone's first time snorkeling. At first, Stephanie was a little nervous, but soon she started to relax and enjoy the mysteries of the ocean.
I saw something underwater that I wanted to show Maria, so I went underwater and I tapped her, and I told her to come up with me. And I happened to come up like a minute before she did, and when I was waiting for her to come up with me, that's when it hit me.
She was just like clutching her neck, and there was blood everywhere. All over the water, all of her hands coming out of her mouth and her nose, and nobody knew what it was.
Hello? Ma'am, what's going on?
There's blood all over the place.
Where?
She's bleeding from her mouth and her nose is really, really bad. Please hurry.
Is she breathing okay?
No.
She's not breathing.
I immediately put my hand on her throat to put pressure on the wound, and that's when I could feel the spine in my hand. I knew there was something in her throat. I had no idea what it was.
It was 90 agonizing minutes before Stephanie reached Fisherman's Hospital. There, she underwent emergency surgery. Doctors were shocked when x-rays revealed that she had been impaled by a common houndfish. Unbelievably, its sharp, pointy beak was embedded 4 inches into her neck.
This is an example of a houndfish, probably quite similar to the one that caused Stephanie's injuries. The jaws were about this wide apart when they actually began the penetration into her neck, and then must have opened up, and I believe they were about that far apart when they completed the penetration inside her neck.
The fish missed her carotid artery by barely 2 millimeters. Surgery to remove it would be perilous.
I thought that she was a goner. I really did.
I was just praying, please don't let her die. Please don't let her die.
Doctors worked for nearly 2 hours to carefully extract the fish's jaws from young Stephanie's neck.
It could not be pulled back out, so I went back in the mouth and I pulled it out her mouth. And the other one I pulled out through the neck and pulled it right through.
Stephanie keeps a positive attitude despite the long scar on her neck and paralyzed vocal cord, which has caused permanent damage to her voice. She vows never to go back in the ocean, and in case someone doubts her fish story, she keeps the houndfish's beak in her refrigerator.
It doesn't bother me that much because I lived, so and it's actually sort of a neat story to tell.
This silhouette is the work of an amazing sharpshooter. He can nail 7 clay pigeons in under 2 seconds, and he can write Ripley's at 20 paces.
He's a Rembrandt with a rifle, a Picasso with a pistol. But while those artists painted their pictures with a brush, John Satterwhite uses his amazing accuracy to paint with a gun. John began shooting at the age of 8. During the Vietnam War, he served in the Air Force, where he continued to hone his skills. John has won numerous shooting awards, including 12 international medals. He is also a 3-time Olympic champion in marksmanship. Now, as an exhibition shooter, John demonstrates his unbelievable accuracy. Watch closely as he uses deadly precision to blow these clay targets to smithereens in no time flat.
We're going to reload our shotgun this time with 7 rounds, and we're going to attempt to throw and shoot 7 clay birds, and let's see how long it takes us to get the job done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Pretty impressive, and in less than 2 seconds flat. It just gets better. With eagle-eye aim, John can actually shoot his own used casings as they're flung out of his gun.
We're going to hit 1 clay target first to create an empty hole, and then we're going to eject the empty holes, trying to hit the empty holes in midair as they're coming out of the gun.
Proving that he doesn't even need to use the sight to nail the target, John does what's called trick firing from the hip.
I'll tell you what, that hip shooting's not the easiest thing I ever tried to do, and it's real important to know right where that bird's going to be every time you shoot. I said why, for example, if you were shooting from the hip, you'd never want to shoot a target way out to the right like this. You'd never want to shoot one out to the left like this. You'd certainly never want to shoot one high in the air like this. You'd never want to shoot one in real close like this. You'd never want to shoot one way out there like this, because you just couldn't be accurate.
This sharpshooter's pinpoint accuracy has led to something more creative, bullet art. And while it might be artful, it's like no portrait you've ever seen, because John's art gallery is a shooting gallery.
A lot of these little bullet holes and the placement of them have to do with perspective and with art.
It takes John an average of 6 minutes to precisely fire up to 200 bullets onto his thin metal canvas. When the dust settles, a work of art emerges. In this case, the profile of a Native American. But despite multiple offers, John doesn't plan on selling his work.
Believe it or not.
Next, Mel Switzer is the world's loudest snorer. So his sleepless wife zaps him with electricity to shut him up.
It works wonderfully well.
Plus, 2 women dare to share their beds with nearly 1,000 snakes. And the explosive challenge that could blow these young men to bits. On Ripley's Believe It or Not. Amazing stories and unbelievable people. Ripley's Believe It or Not.
There are rites of passage in just about every culture. In America, we graduate from school and maybe get the keys to our first car. In the Mikawa region of Japan, the rite of passage for young men is an explosive test. It involves bamboo wrapped in rope, filled with 8 pounds of gunpowder, and 1 lit match.
Every year across America, there is another horror story of a child getting burned or maimed after playing with fireworks. But halfway around the world, a rite of passage for young men is to set off homemade fireworks to prove their manhood. And no one knows that better than the young men from this remote Japanese village, where a virtual arsenal of fireworks is set off while being held tight in their unsteady hands. Teenager Takeki Takatsu is about to experience a ritual isolated to the Japanese province of Toyokawa.
怖いんですけど、なんか楽しみっていうか、はい、そんな感じが。
He's not the only one who's scared. His mother, like hundreds of other wives and mothers from the village, dreads this annual test of courage.
毎回ハラハラはしてます。祈るような気持ちで終わってやっと終わったなって感じです。
It's a display of machismo for men coming of age and others who have tested their courage for years. Injuries are common, and an untold number of accidental deaths have occurred. 450 years ago, this region produced more gunpowder than any other. Soon their powerful shogun was ruling all of Japan, and he only allowed his trusted men access to these explosives. Since then, the Festival of Fireworks has been a way of celebrating this special privilege. It's a dangerous tradition that's passed down from generation to generation. Tuichiro Takatsu's been coming back every year for the last 16 years. Like other fathers, Tuichiro will be initiating his son at the festival.
うちの町内でも親子でやられるっていうのは本当に数少ないことでして、やはり親子で手筒が挙げれるというのは。
The symbolic step into manhood begins in mid-August, when a dozen men begin searching for the bamboo that will be used for their pipes. They search carefully for bamboo that's only 2 to 3 years old, round and as straight as possible. The bamboo must be flawless in order to withstand the incredible internal pressure caused by the lit gunpowder. Even one minuscule crack could send shards of bamboo into the unsuspecting man holding it. Next, the bamboo trunk is cut into sections roughly 3 feet long. These pieces are dried, wrapped in burlap, and then reinforced with bands of thick rope. If they're not bound tight enough, the tubes will blow apart in the hands of whoever's holding them. The night before the ceremony, the men gather at midnight to prepare the explosives. With a rhythmic pounding, the all-night preparation is underway. Potato moonshine and the damp night air keep the explosives moist so that the friction from the packing won't ignite the gunpowder. The proper packing of the gunpowder is crucial. Any air pockets left in the mixture will quickly turn the bamboo pipe into an explosive shell. That's a fear that weighs heavily on Tuichiro's mind.
初めての時はですね、もう16年も前のことですので、あんまり覚えてないんですけども、正直言いまして。
After a long sleepless night, the exhausted men take the packed pieces of bamboo to be blessed by a Buddhist priest. There are only a few hours left before these pipes will be set on fire. The ceremony begins, and first-timers nervously await what happens next. In one fluid move, ceremonial lighters ignite the wicks. The young men pick up the pipes as spectacular fireworks are shooting up to 30 feet in the air. Despite the intense heat, each man holds the pipe tightly against his body. The men clearly struggle to maintain their composure, even as burning hot cinders rain down around them, threatening to set their hair or clothes on fire.
下と上に向けて、上の炎が全部頭にかぶりまして、頭の毛が燃えて、であとこちらにですね、やはりコインぐらいのやけど。
But the greatest danger comes next, as a round of spectacular explosive volleys signal the end to the celebration. Risking life and limb for 30 seconds of splendor may seem like an extreme way to prove one's manhood, but for these men, the fireworks festival is an important part of their culture. And with the danger of this year's festival safely behind them, plans are already being made for next year.
Rev up a motorcycle at full throttle. Stand just 300 feet from a jet airliner at takeoff, or lie in bed next to Mel Switzer as he snores. Do it long enough and you could go deaf. Just ask his poor wife.
When the residents of this British neighborhood turn in for the evening, they have to shut their windows and put their earplugs in to get a good night's sleep. If they don't, this man, Mel Switzer, is likely to keep them awake. Mel doesn't just snore. He has the official title of being the loudest snorer in the world.
I always claim that I don't snore, but I've had beer thrown over me to prove that I do.
Mel and his long-suffering wife, Julie, have been married for 41 years. The first 10 years were snore-free. But after Mel had oral surgery, he developed a snore so loud, it rattled the windows.
It's as loud as a motorcycle revving up next to you, or an electric drill running next to you.
Julie estimates the snoring robs her of at least 3 hours of sleep a night. Mel, however, has tried various cure-alls, some more torturous than others. From a nostril stretching device,
doesn't work,
to a golf ball belt that forces him to sleep on his side,
doesn't work,
to a wristband that delivers an excruciating electric shock every time he starts to snore.
It works wonderfully well.
Painfully too well. To demonstrate just how loud Mel's snoring is, we set a decibel meter next to his bed to record each and every horrendous breath. In this test, the loudest snore is an eardrum-numbing 87.6 decibels. That's nearly as loud as a subway train. 95 decibels. Or a high-powered lawnmower at 107 decibels. Is it any wonder Mel and Julie have had 8 neighbors move in only 10 years?
Nobody complained, they just kept moving. So I sort of took the hint, and perhaps it was me.
Mel's current neighbor, Brian Toghill, remembers the first time he and his wife heard Mel sawing logs.
We heard this terrible noise, and we jumped out of bed to look out the windows, and we thought it was a couple of deer rutting out on the golf course. Couldn't make out what the diggings it was.
Although everyone around Mel has problems sleeping, he sleeps just fine. There's only one way Julie's been able to endure this non-stop commotion all these years. It turns out she's going deaf in one ear.
I don't expect he's helped it at all, mind you.
Still ahead, you haven't seen a hot body until you see the people who are literally gonna cook themselves alive.
Once it hits 106 degrees, your body vital organ systems start to shut down.
Plus, doctors said he'd never walk again. How an acrobat went from a hospital bed to walking on air. And the body artist making her sexy human subjects vanish in the blink of a brushstroke. On Ripley's Believe It or Not. You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Here in the Ripley's warehouse, you can find one-of-a-kind artifacts and new arrivals on the cutting edge of technology as well, like this. This is the first 4-rotor helicopter. What looks like a toy is actually an engineering breakthrough, and now helicopter manufacturers are scrambling to try and replicate this unbelievably stable design on a large scale to carry passengers.
In the meantime, this prototype is equipped with a camera, creating a steady spy in the sky. The next wave in surveillance technology.
And now, here's something else you should see.
This is what happens to your flesh when it cooks at temperatures over 212 degrees. So who in their right mind would submit themselves to such brain-baking heat? A bunch of mad Scandinavians, that's who. About 75 Swedes, Finns, and Estonians are fighting to win the World Championship sauna competition. Inside this little wooden box, 6 contestants will sweat it out as temperatures fry them above 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
Remember that water boils at a temperature of 212 degrees. Chicken cooks at 170 degrees. You're talking about walking into a makeshift oven where death can occur very rapidly.
The competition takes place in the little town of Heinola, Finland. For a cold country, the Finns really like it hot. There are 2 million saunas in a land with only 5 million people. It's a social gathering place that people of all ages enjoy.
In Finland, it's a habit that children go also to the sauna, and even babies go to the sauna. And in our family, we were 2 weeks old when we went to the sauna first time.
Katri Kamarainen has built up a tolerance to extreme heat. No wonder she's the reigning women's sauna champion. This year, Katri is determined to defend her title and step back into the 212-degree sauna.
Your body temperature will start to rise very rapidly. Once it hits 104 to 106 degrees, your body vital organ systems start to shut down. You lose blood to the brain, causing brain failure or coma. This is a crazy kind of dangerous.
At 4 minutes and 42 seconds into the sweat marathon, our first contender drops out. A minute and 51 seconds later, 2 more contestants are goners.
This is very risky. You may not be able to be rescued sufficiently from this kind of trauma to the body. Heat stroke is very dangerous. It's life and death. It's heartbeat to heartbeat.
After 7 excruciating minutes, Svetlana Krutova from Estonia throws in the sauna towel. Now it's down to the last 2 competitors. Remember that the temperature is a constant 212 degrees, the boiling point of water.
It's not just enough to be pulled out of the oven at the last minute. Your body may have lost vital functions like kidneys, liver, without ever having any opportunity to recover. And that can lead to serious long-term damage even if you survive.
At 7 minutes and 29 seconds, the game is over. After 7 minutes and 36 seconds, Katri Kamarainen exits the sauna. She is declared the winner and champion. You would think that Katri was ready for the hospital, but instead, she's going to show Ripley's what she's made of by cranking the sauna temperature 27 degrees hotter to 239 degrees Fahrenheit, twice as hot as the hottest day in the Mojave Desert. It's so hot, this digital thermometer, which was designed to measure temperatures up to 250 degrees, malfunctions and practically melts. At these temperatures, it seems like Katri would fry like this egg, but she's fit as a Finnish fiddle and ready to go off with her friends and family to celebrate her win. Where? In a sauna by the lake. Where else?
The screaming audience is the last thing that Jay Cochran remembers when he took a nasty fall off the tightrope. Doctors said that he'd never walk again, but he proved them wrong, and today it looks like he's walking on air.
This is the Yangtze River at a spot known as the Three Gorges. It is one of China's most spectacular sights, but today this site is even more spectacular.
The wire always moves. The wire is like a breathing mechanism, an organism. The wire reacts to what you do. Whatever you do, the wire does. You are in control of the wire. The wire should never be in control of you. If it is, you're in trouble. You shouldn't be there.
Not only shouldn't Jay be walking along this razor-thin wire nearly 1,400 feet high with no safety net, but Jay should not be walking at all. Since Jay was a teenager, he wanted to be a high-wire artist, but shortly after achieving his goal, disaster struck. In 1965, he was doing a show in Toronto.
I was young, inexperienced, and I did not check the rigging enough, and the whole tower collapsed with me on it.
Jay fell 90 feet to the ground below.
I was hospitalized. I was told I would never walk again.
After multiple surgeries, more than 4 years of rehabilitation, and a relentless desire to get back on his feet, Jay managed to return to the high wire. But what Jay couldn't anticipate was just how high that wire would get. In 1970, a promoter asked if he could walk a wire outside between 2 buildings. But when Jay arrived for the performance, he got a big surprise.
He showed me these 2 50-story buildings. And I looked at him and I said, "You gotta be kidding me." He said, "I'm not kidding you." He said, "You told me you could do it. I booked the show. We got the deposit. Now you better do it." So I looked at it and figured out how to do it. And that was the beginning of of a whole new career for me.
Jay coined the term skywalking because at the great heights he performs, the wire is almost invisible and he seems to be walking on air.
There is a difference between the skywalking and a wire walking in a circus. Skywalking is done outdoors. Every walk is different height, different elevation, different distance.
And with the memories of his staggering fall still in his mind, every one of his walks is a test of faith. Faith in his equipment and faith in himself.
Lots of people ask me, am I afraid of heights? Because they think, oh, this guy walks thousands of feet in the air and he can't be afraid of anything. Absolutely, I'm afraid of heights.
Now Jay is ready to walk where no human has walked before, across the Yangtze Gorge in China. It took Jay's crew and hundreds of workers months to construct this skywalk system. This is the most dangerous walk of his life, with a cable almost half a mile long and a quarter mile high. No parachute, no safety net.
The biggest enemy, the biggest factor that we have to deal with doing skywalks between buildings or skyscrapers or mountains or whatever is the wind. The wind is our biggest factor. I watch wind very carefully.
Jay uses a balance pole that can be anywhere from 30 to 40 feet in length and weigh from 40 to 60 pounds. Approaching the far side, Jay takes a 1-foot stance. It's his signature salute to the crowd. As Jay completes this monumental feat, he's all business. And while he insists that this is just another walk from point A to point B, to anybody else, skywalking across the Yangtze Gorge is cheating death.
You know, life is like a tightrope. It's one step at a time, and there's no looking back.
Still ahead, how these big black bugs saved a trio of adventurers from starving to death in the Amazon. Plus, this human crash test dummy is about to attempt a record-breaking head-on collision. And the painter whose naked human creations are literally out of sight. On Ripley's Believe It or Not. Stories you can't imagine, people you won't believe. Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Welcome back. They have saved countless lives, sacrificing themselves so that we can drive, fly, and engage in recreational activities safely. I'm talking, of course, about the crash test dummy. But sometimes a battered dummy can only take so much. And that's when the crash test human, Rusty Haight, buckles up.
Electrodes are attached to his chest and head. His vital organs monitored by high-tech recording devices. With body armor in place, he straps himself into the crash test car.
Rusty, we're ready. Go ahead.
All systems are go, and he's ready to drive head-on into another car at more than 40 miles an hour. His name is Rusty Haight, and he's the world's first and only crash test human.
Go on.
In his lifetime, he has endured more than 500 high-impact, steel-smashing, bone-crushing accidents.
I guess I was cocky enough to have confidence in my ability to reconstruct a crash and do it within parameters that would not get me hurt.
Car accidents are one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. On average, 43,000 people are killed on America's highways each year. To help save lives, the government and auto manufacturers have used test dummies in collisions for years. Studying those simulated crashes has led to safer cars as well as life-saving innovations like the airbag. But there's one thing crash test dummies can't fake: how a real human is affected in an accident. A dummy is dead weight, but a human will tense up during a collision, severely changing how the body impacts the inside of the car.
We really need a human subject in the car because we're measuring human response within limitations and within tolerances.
Rusty is a former police officer who, after investigating hundreds of accidents, decided that the best way to reconstruct a collision is to make it happen all over again with him in it. Today, on the driver's training range at the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy, Rusty is preparing to do something even he has never done before. He's going to barrel into another vehicle at 43 miles per hour, a record speed for recreating an accident with a human inside. Although he is carefully suited up and protected, Rusty knows better than anyone accidents can happen.
There's always a concern that something could go wrong, no question. I don't take these lightly. It's not, well, let's just get in the car and we'll make a crash. It's, you got to plan it. You can't just go out there and smack cars together.
Before all of his crash tests, Rusty is rigged with a battery of devices that measure how his body is affected by the impact.
We'll put instrumentation on me. We'll put accelerometers on my head, on my chest, on my back, and we'll measure the acceleration, the forces, the acceleration of my head, of my chest, of my back.
The sensitive equipment has gone through final checks.
Okay, 1 sec.
And Rusty is ready.
Rusty, we're ready. Go ahead.
This is the most violent collision Rusty has ever attempted. At 43 miles an hour, it's miles faster than most crash tests. Watch again. Just before the moment of impact, Rusty takes his hands off the wheel. This is to keep the force of the collision from shattering his wrists and forearm. He's done it. Rusty succeeds without suffering a scratch, setting a new all-time record. Almost immediately after impact, Rusty and his team start to analyze the results.
You got to look at the potential airbag injuries, the damage to the cars, the tire marks. There's just a list of things that we're going to use these crashes for in training, and that list is almost endless and always, always valuable.
Another crash, another accident analysis to make our roads a safer place to be. For Rusty, it's not about setting speed records, it's about saving lives.
The number of different possibilities for a crash is forever growing, and so I believe that you can never stop learning.
Enter Ripley's archive.
Robert Ripley, leave it or not. Leave it or not.
The year is 1950. Arzino Selden of Lansing, Michigan, performs his daring aerial feat. Arzino begins a harrowing climb to the top of a 165-foot pole, then performs a dangerous swinging act. One wrong move will send Arzino plunging 14 stories into the crowd below. There is no safety net, and nothing supports him or the pole he is balancing on. Still swinging, Arzino performs his grand finale, a handstand. What makes his act even more unbelievable is the fact that Arzino is 62 years old, just 3 years short of a peaceful retirement. Believe it or not.
If you've ever been in a really nice restaurant, you know how much a gourmet meal can cost. $100, $200 per person, especially if you work your way through the wine list. But imagine spending $90,000 per person for a meal of bugs. And that doesn't even include wine.
Mario Caligari is a man with an obsession to capture rare beetles like these in the Peruvian jungle. It is a place rich with exotic creatures, many of which only come out at night. Attracted to Mario's light,
Peru is the best place, the most important biodiversity in the world.
Across the Pacific and Japan, the enormous beetles that Mario catches can sell for tens of thousands of dollars apiece. Pricey bugs that would mean the difference between life and death for this adventurer. Several times a year, Mario sets out to the Amazonian rainforest to hunt these coveted creatures. And it was on a 2-week expedition into an uncharted part of the jungle that Mario had to make a costly decision. Either eat his bounty of beetles or die of starvation. This real-life horror story began when Mario and his team got lost in a remote region of the Amazon. In order to get out alive, they crafted a makeshift raft hoping to float to safety. But after 15 agonizing days, they were still lost and ran out of food. Hundreds of miles from civilization, they turned to Mario for guidance. It was then that he suggested the unthinkable.
We eat insects because we know they have proteins, calcium. If we now found insects in this trip, it's possible we have problems.
In order to survive, the men consumed nutritious beetle after rare beetle.
We eat these insects, sometimes roasted in a fire. If you eat insects, you save your life.
Even with the bugs for food, the men were slowly starving to death. Mario lost over 60 pounds. As word of their disappearance spread, helicopter search teams were sent out. After an agonizing 31 days in the jungle, rescuers finally found Mario and his crew. They were medevaced to the closest hospital, diagnosed with severe malnutrition and dehydration. Doctors say feasting on insects saved the bug catchers' lives. And as far as Mario's concerned, these unusual creatures have become a part of the Amazon he will never forget.
Some people say, oh, these insects are very ugly. But if you roast it and you have hungry, oh, it's very nice for eat. Good taste, it's like a lobster.
We'll be right back.
Next, the painter working magic with nude models, going from their birthday suits to a living, breathing background. Believe it.
Joanne Gare was a school teacher until her amazing ability to make people literally disappear into the woodwork took the art world by storm. You see, she finger paints and toe paints and paints every other part of the body. You'll see. These are the gorgeous girls of Sports Illustrated's annual swimsuit issue. Tanned, toned, and completely naked. It's true. Every model here is wearing absolutely nothing but their birthday suits. Or rather, painted suits. It's living art with the skin as canvas, thanks to the body paint and brush of Joanne Gare.
None of them had any kind of like latex coverage on them. They were all naked.
It was so lifelike. I mean, I would walk through the hotel with a towel around me, you know, with a bikini top on, painted on by Joanne, and no one would have any idea that I wasn't wearing anything.
She could be called the mistress of illusion or the crown princess of makeup because her human camouflage work in commercials leaves people speechless. Appear, disappear. Fantasy, reality. Joanne paints bodies to match backgrounds. She blends the fine line between skin and setting. People literally disappear into the woodwork.
I didn't know America was going to be so receptive to what I did. This place is so big, there's somebody that wants what you've got if you're an original.
17 years ago, Joanne was jobless when she arrived from New Zealand. Now she's one of Hollywood's hottest makeup artists, with big-name clients like Madonna. But Joanne really made news when she painted actress Demi Moore for the cover of Vanity Fair. Today, the painter has a new challenge, and Russian model Sasha will be the canvas. Joanne has been asked by Ripley's to transform this beautiful woman into a human wallflower. Her 3 dimensions will melt and meld into a backdrop of poppies and daisies. And in this kind of art, the model is as important as the artist.
Sasha is patient, she's angelic, she talks without even really speaking.
But painting fantasy on flesh is a painstaking process, grueling in fact. And Joanne is no Hollywood prima donna. Tireless, she gets her hands dirty and counts on her small army of assistants and friends, including photographer Tracy Bain.
She sleeps 3 hours a night. She's always going, always going. Because I don't think a lot of people understand the time that it really takes. It's an illusion, so everything has to be perfect.
Makeup is never just makeup. It is a passion, and it's interactive, so you don't get lonely. A piece of canvas doesn't talk to you.
Perhaps not, but a human canvas poses big problems. Every model reacts differently to the paint because of their temperature and body chemistry, so paint can change color. And of course, every canvas gets bored, tired, and hungry.
They almost had to zen and leave their body because they've got to sit there for such a long time.
Creating the optical illusion takes magic, and the magic is not found in the makeup. Straight lines in the background are not straight lines on the body,
The pigment and color of the paint must be exact. A shadow could change the look. But the magic is found in the hands of Joanne.
Joanne executes everything to the nth degree because of the passion that she has for what she does. It's amazing.
And after 17 and a half hours of painting, the fantasy is finally complete, and the wall comes to life. Once again, Joanne fools the eye, and once again she proves that she is the mistress of makeup illusion.
Next, this sword wasn't just used for slashing. Its gruesome, blood-curdling history will be revealed when we travel to the Ripley Vault next. You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
The Ripley's warehouse is filled with weapons designed for cruel and unusual punishment. One of the cruelest and most unusual of these weapons is this sword from the African country of Zaire. Up to the 1930s, when Robert Ripley personally collected this, swords like this were used routinely for executions. The way it would work is that the victim would be tied down over a bent green sapling by a river. When this curved blade came down on the victim's neck, the head would drop off, and the rope holding the sapling would be cut. The body would be catapulted into the water, and then the head saved for whatever. Unbelievable? Believe it.